Alright, welcome to religious reasoning. There I walk, say, mother put out this one here. Who need to hear? So, who need to hear? It's a your time. Alright, and get around, listen. You see, if he's a Christian, he's a Jew, if you are Islamic, whatever your religious conviction, right? When we see you, we're supposed to see God in you. We're not supposed to need to ask you, you're a Christian? When you're not supposed to tell we, say, you're a Christian, and we ask you back. We're supposed to see you and see it in you and say, yes. When you go to church Sunday, pray for me. Enough time. You have to ask some people where them not go to church, but guess what? Them have the looks. What looks me I talk about? Them have the resemblance of God upon them. You see them not open their mouth yet. Them, you look on how them dress. You look how them carry themselves. You listen to how them talk. You see how them walk. Right? After you look at all of these things upon a person, when you look at all of these things on a person, any person, and them tell you say them not supposed to have to tell you say, oh, I'm of God. No. If you have to tell people that you are of God, then you are not of God. People are supposed to see you and know say you're of God. This is why you see a lot of things we twist it in the Bible, you know. A lot of things happen in the Bible and we twist it. For example, when Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Why? And him say, I and the Father are one. Why? A lot of people take that literal. No. It's literal, but it's not literal in the sense where you take it. What he's saying is this. It's very simple. When you look on me, you're supposed to see a reflection of the Father. You're supposed to see the Father in me. You're supposed to see God in me. You're supposed to have to tell you, say, God sent me. You're supposed to see me and say, oh, this is a man of God. Me not supposed to need to tell you. You understand? And jacket and tie. It's not supposed to be the measure when we use. Me supposed to just see you and say, all of you in a jacket and tie. And know. Instinctively say, once you see this person here, you know, say this person here is of God. This person here, I work with God better. You can say that. Look on him. You can tell that. It's not supposed to be a case where you tell me something and me, I said, okay, no problem. Maybe going to church every Sunday is not an indication that you're of God. Going to church every Saturday is not an indication that you are of God. Look at some of the things that you do. Alright? Let's think about many worldly things. Because many persons who are now Christian, them they in the world. But does the world reflect in you? Or does God reflect in you? You can't have the two of them are reflecting you at the same time. So if God are reflecting you, things of the world cannot be reflecting in you. Let's take, for example, ankle chain. Everybody and their mother have an ankle chain. But does anyone stop to find out where it come from, what it means? No. People just say, oh, well, it's aware. You are of the world. You say so, you are of the world. You dip on the choir and you have your ankle chain, you are of the world. You are preaching at church with your ankle chain on, you are of the world. What am I saying as it relates to ankle chain? It is a badge, a medal, if you wish, that the world used. So how can you then say, no, I'm not of the world, but you still wear the badge of the world? You understand? You say you is of God, but still your nose bore in 5 places. You are of the world. Your chin bore, you are of the world. Your tongue bore, you are of the world. Your nipple bore, you are of the world. Even, alright, look at even the nipple boring. The nipple bore, alright, cool. What was the first commandment given unto man? No, that is not the first one. Where you think about, that's not the first one. The first commandment, the first job when God gave to man, when God created man, was to be fruitful and multiply and increase in numbers. No. When you pierce your nipple, are you not preventing yourself from being able to feed a child? Meaning, I'm not saying that every time you have sex, it's going to be, you're going to you're trying for a child. But by piercing your nipple, it means that if a child were to come, you would not be able to feed that child, because those breasts will not be able to function in a normal manner. So, if that be the case then, right, it means that how can you say you're a Christian when you are purposefully making sure, say, you can obey the first rule, the first commandment that God given to mankind? Now Christ will tell you that in order to follow him, you have to born again. Right? But not only do you have to born again, in order for you to born again, you have to die. Huh? No one did. Oh, let me explain. When me say you need to die to self, your ego. You have to die. This is what I want to do, what I feel like doing, need to die. It need to die. You need to know, say, for example, you want to do something, you know, say, it is not permitted by the rules of God, and you keep that desire, and you know, say, no matter how much you want to do it, you know, say, you're not going to do it, because you know it is not the will of God. Simple. That is what it means to die. And guess what? When you're born again, it becomes easy. A lot of people are looking at me funny, because they must say me not baptized, me not going in the water. Anyways, one next time I talk to you about that. When we talk to you about this now, when you born again, when God transform you, say you're a smoker, and many of them can attest to this. Past smokers can attest. Them a smoker, them say them a try God, and then all of a sudden, if even somebody else has smoked the cigarette, it's like they want to vomit. They can't smoke, they can't dare on smoke. They don't have nothing to do with smoke again, all of a sudden, because God put them in that. Even lobster, they can't eat it, turn against them, and vomit shit up themselves. Why? Why is that? Because God Spirit in them, and God's Spirit is there to guide you. It's not just the Holy Spirit was there in them on the day of Pentecost, where they're able to speak unknown language. Unknown language, what does that mean? A lot of persons are that are pass up trick on you. The language unknown, not to the world. The language is unknown to the speaker, not to the world. So you hear them and say, oh, I'm speaking unknown language, and that's why we need an interpreter. Tell you what we're saying, because nobody in the world know or understand it. No. Because if you read just a little bit further, you hear the man them say, The man you speak, yes, in my language, but I must junk then junk. Because we know the man you can speak with language. And the man them say, what do you mean we junk? It's just the 9th hour. They just start. What do you mean say we junk? We're not junk. And it's the same thing with every aspect of life. When God get into the midst, things you say you couldn't do, all of a sudden, you can't do nothing else. You used to have 10, 50 man, all of a sudden, God take over your life, you can't have no more than one. That's what happened. You get a complete transformation when God step in. So as I say, you have people who say them saved, go to church years, and when you look at them, at the life they live, look at how mean and selfish them is. You look at what they give, for example, and what they do, and how they treat people who think differently. Right? How they go about life. What sort of friends they keep, what type of things they tolerate. Things that God say can't go so. They must say, oh, well, you know, it's just everybody is entitled to their own opinion. No, there's no opinion. I don't have opinions on certain topics. It's not an opinion. This word was handed down to me. Same way it was handed down to me, same way me dispense it. Me no change nothing, me no add nothing, me no take away nothing. I don't change that tilde. You know what a tilde is? The little thing that you put over a letter to change the pronunciation. I don't change that. You understand? So if God say, I saw it for go, then me can't say I no saw it for go. And if God say, I no saw it for go, me can't say I saw it for go. And when we look at these people, when we look at them and we see them, we know that these people are of God. We know that these people are hearing from God. And a lot of people think that how you know when somebody have a relationship with God is when you see them a worship every day, or you see them a pray every day, or sing every day. No? For some people it's just a song. For some people it's just a song. Alright, let's say you have a man, himself is a Christian, saying born again, have a child, not taking care of the child. Which part of you is a Christian, sir? You have a woman, she carry the baby go get the father, or she drop it off with her mother, she don't turn the black or white back on that child. What kind of woman are you? Which part of you is a Christian? You is a Christian, so you say, oh, you have married. You are 30, you are 35, 40. Young woman, husband young too. Big old jazz. All for here, you and your husband have sex 2 times for the year. 2 times for the year. Right? And you say you're married, you're a Christian, you are denying the flesh. You're a Christian, every minute you do a clinic, a private clinic, or do abortion. What kind of Christian are you? You're a Christian and you come when time you come check a man's wife when him not there home and when they have prayer meeting when nobody now see, and then fuck nights that come from the room. What kind of Christian are you? What kind of religious person are you? Talk to me. Religion is not something, or your belief cannot be something that I'm going to chip in upon days of worship, or when church start, or when mass start, or when you go to the temple. No. Am I saying that everyone is perfect? No. I'm not saying that everyone is perfect. But the little things, certain things you have to, you know it's hard sometimes, it's hard, very hard. It's very hard sometimes, certain things because you don't want to do it, or certain things you want to do it. Whichever way, and you know how it's supposed to go. You know where they're supposed to be doing this, you know where they're supposed to not be doing this. And it's up to you now. You have to make sure say you don't give in to the flesh. You don't yield to temptation. You understand? You go out, you say, okay, alright. You go on the road. And a lot of women go on the road, they're half naked. You say, yet still, Sunday you say you go to church. You go to church, you have one little something barely, one flower or something, you put it on your head and you go to church. But the Bible says your head must cover. Is that a cover? That is not cover. You go to church, you have 10 pounds of makeup for who? Am I saying anything is wrong with makeup? No, you have to look good. But at the end of the day, are you saying that God's work is not good enough, so you need to cover it up with your own work? You say you're a Christian, you're 50 women. Why? None of them not married. Hold on. When it comes to married, you are a pastor, you tell the woman to leave her man because them not married, and him is not a Christian. And the Bible says if the man willing to stay, if the other party willing to stay, if the non-believer willing to stay, you must stay with him. Okay, but them don't married. Okay, no problem in that. Are they committed to each other? Because the married will go in front of pastor and get the government involved. That is not for the couple. If me and a woman, we know something there. We not take tea and we go in front of pastor and married. That is not married, because the law is gonna consider it to be a marriage. But it's not really a marriage in God's eyes, because we don't have nothing to do with each other. So at the end of the day, right, you have to live every aspect of your life, from the discipline of your child to the treatment of your spouse, treatment of your parents, treatment of your siblings, right? Or your dress, or your talk, the kind of jewelry you wear, how flashy you go about things, right? How much you spend, how much money you spend, because yes, that have something to do with it. You have 5 private planes, for why? Why? You plan for the year for the next 200 years? You have 200 more years per earth. Why you need to accumulate so much? And then you have your brother or your sister who don't have. Greed. So at the end of the day, if you are going to consider yourself a child of God, a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, right? Whatever your faith, you're going to consider yourself. Make sure that you look into yourself and see, am I displaying these attributes that should be attributed to real sons of God, to real Christians, to real Jews, to real Muslim? Or am I just counterfeiting the name in order to get people to look at me in a certain way? Once people see you and you is a true Christian, no one need to ask you. No one need to, from them see them know. Them go ask you, but that has to confirm. But from them see you, them know. Another thing we will say, a lot of time, a lot of family is guilty of this, walking around the house naked. You are alright, you 3 hours now, woman. When you just say, okay, 3 hours, woman, you 3 hours in a panty and brassiere walk around the house. Why? Why? You're not supposed to do that. Cover up yourself. Whether you're deep on the road, the only time you know to cover yourself and when you're around your husband. Your husband supposed to see you a certain way. Make sure, say, when you can keep a relationship alive. Relationship easy for dating. Because there's always gonna be somebody at her. Plus you get older. Breasts are drop. And you have somebody with breasts up in her hair. You understand? There's always gonna be something out there where gonna seem better. So what are you going to do to make sure that your relationship can stand the test of time? God don't like divorce. No? Divorce is not something that God likes. God permitted it because of the evil in man's heart. But divorce is not something that God likes. So once you get into somebody, you need to try to make sure you say this thing here. Last. You say, oh, you're a Christian, you have 50 failed marriage. How comes you have 50 failed marriage? If God into it, if God is in the midst, how can it fail? Means you never put God in there. So, overall what I am saying is this. Once you are a child of God, a son of God, you're not supposed to have to tell people that, hey, you know, say, me's a Christian. It shouldn't be because your uniform is a non-uniform and people say, oh, there's a nun, so she's a Christian. No. It should be from them see you, from them see your demeanor, from them, you're supposed to radiate with this thing. From them see them say, oh, him is a Christian or she's a Christian.